It began with the sound so faint, I thought it was just the wind playing tricks through the hills of County Clare. The night was cold, the kind that makes the air bite at your skin, and the moon was barely a sliver above the rolling fog. My grandmother used to tell me stories about a spirit that roamed these lands, the Banshee, the wailing woman who cries for those about to die. I never believed her, until that night. The fog clung to the fields like a living thing, wrapping around the trees and swallowing the road ahead. I was driving back from Ennis, my headlights cutting through the mist like dull knives. That's when I heard it, a soft, distant cry. It wasn't human, not quite. It rose and fell like a sigh from the earth itself, fragile yet piercing enough to make my stomach drop. I stopped the car. The sound came again. A question for you. Have you ever felt something watching you from the dark, even when you know you're alone? The silence after the cry was worse than the sound itself. It was thick, suffocating. I stepped out of the car, the gravel crunching beneath my boots. The fog shifted, revealing something on the hill, a faint, white shape, unmoving, almost glowing against the night. My breath hitched. The stories came flooding back, how the Banshee appears before death, how her cry is not a threat, but a warning. I told myself it was just my mind feeding on fear, but the shape turned its head. Even from that distance, I could see her hair, long, pale, almost silver in the moonlight, flowing like it was underwater. The air grew colder. My car engine sputtered. I should have run. Instead, I watched as the figure lifted her head toward me. The next sound tore through the night, a scream so sharp it felt like glass shattering inside my skull. I stumbled back, clutching my ears, yet part of me couldn't look away. Her mouth opened wider than any humans should, and yet beneath that horror, there was sorrow. When it stopped, everything went still again. No fog, no wind, just the echo of that cry lingering in my mind like a curse. And then, my phone rang. Unknown number. When I answered, all I heard was breathing. Then a whisper. It's not you. Not yet. I didn't sleep that night. The scream still echoed in my head like it was trapped in my skull. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, pale, almost translucent. Her eyes like empty wells of grief. I told myself it couldn't have been real. Maybe exhaustion, maybe fog, maybe imagination. But then I remembered the whisper. Not you, not yet. By morning, the fog had vanished, leaving behind a silence that felt unnatural. I drove to town, hoping the routine of people and chatter would wash away the unease. But when I stopped by the cafe, I saw the headlines on a local paper left on the counter. Local farmer found dead in his home. Natural causes suspected. The photo beside it froze my blood. It was Mr. Doyle, my neighbor, the man who lived less than a mile from where I'd seen her. I asked the barista what happened. She said no one really knew, that he just stopped breathing, peacefully, they said. But she whispered something else, too. Some folks heard crying last night, coming from the hills. Do you believe in coincidences, or do you think everything happens for a reason? That question kept spinning in my mind as I drove past Doyle's property later that day.
Police tape fluttered in the wind. His front door hung slightly open. Curiosity pulled me closer. Or maybe something else did. Inside, everything looked normal. Too normal. A cup still half full of tea. A chair pulled back. A coat draped over the armrest. But the air? It felt thick. Almost electric. Like the moment before lightning strikes. Then, I heard it again. A sob. Faint, but clear. Coming from the hallway. My chest tightened. "Hello?" I called out. No answer. Just another soft cry. Closer this time. The hallway seemed to stretch forever. Every step heavier than the last. At the end of it was a mirror. Cracked. And for a moment, I swear, I saw her standing behind me. The same silver hair, the same mournful eyes. But when I turned around, nothing. Only silence. The reflection, though, it changed. The room behind me wasn't Doyle's hallway anymore. It was the hill. The same hill where I'd seen her. The same mist rolling like smoke. And right in the center, she stood again, pointing towards something in the fog.
Then the mirror shattered. The next thing I knew, I was outside, stumbling toward my car. I didn't even remember running. My heart hammered against my ribs as if trying to escape. When I finally looked back, the farmhouse was dark, and in one of the upper windows, I thought I saw a dim flicker of light, like a candle or a lantern. But no one had lived there since. That night, as I locked my doors and tried to calm my shaking hands, my phone buzzed again. Same unknown number. This time, I let it ring. When it stopped, a voicemail appeared. I hesitated before playing it, and then I heard her voice, soft, trembling, but clear. It's not him either. It's close. The storm was still raging as Emma and Liam followed the trembling light of the GPS deeper into the Irish countryside. The screen flickered, distorting into strange symbols before revealing their destination, Old Hollow Cemetery. Rain lashed against the windshield, and Emma's hands clenched around the steering wheel. Liam's voice trembled as he whispered, "It followed us." Emma shook her head. "No, it's leading us." The car stopped at the rusted gates of the graveyard. The air felt heavier, filled with the weight of something ancient. Each step they took echoed between the tombstones, the sounds swallowed by the rising wind. Then, from somewhere deep in the mist, came the wail. It wasn't just sound, it was emotion itself. Pain, loss, longing, the kind that crawls beneath your skin and takes root in your soul. Emma froze. "Do you hear that?" Liam's flashlight shook. "It's coming from everywhere." And then a voice, soft, trembling, but unmistakably human, whispered, "Leave or join the mourning." Emma turned, her heart pounding. The voice was familiar. It wasn't just a scream of the dead, it was the echo of her own bloodline. They reached an old Celtic cross, cracked and worn, half swallowed by the earth. At its base, the inscription read, E.M.
M. O'Connor, beloved daughter. Emma's knees went weak. That's my mother's name. Liam's voice broke. Emma, that's your family. Lightning tore through the sky, revealing a figure standing behind the grave. Draped in pale shrouds, her hair floated as if caught in invisible waves. The Banshee. Her face shimmered between sorrow and fury, her eyes glowing with grief centuries old. The cry rose again, louder now, but layered, like thousands of voices crying out through her.
"You called me," the spirit said, "daughter of the cursed line."
Emma's voice shook. You're not real.
The Banshee's tone was both sharp and sorrowful. "Then why do you carry my voice?" The air trembled. Emma's recorder dropped from her hand, still blinking red. Through the static, her own voice played back, screaming. The ground cracked beneath her feet as cold light spilled from the grave. She fell to her knees, tears mixing with the rain.
What do you want from me?
She whispered. "To be heard," the Banshee replied.
Emma looked up into the ghost's face and saw not rage, but sorrow. In a sudden moment of clarity, she understood the wail wasn't a curse. It was a message, a warning passed through generations that no one had ever truly listened to. You're warning us, Emma whispered. You're not bringing death, you're trying to stop it. The Banshee's expression softened, her voice like wind through the reeds.
"The cry was never for the dying," she said. "It was for those who forget."
She reached out, her hand shimmering, trembling with light. Emma hesitated for a heartbeat, then took it. A rush of energy surged through her, memories, emotions, and echoes of every cry ever heard. The storm froze. Raindrops hung in midair. Silence swallowed everything. When Emma opened her eyes, the Banshee was gone. The cemetery was calm, the first rays of dawn bleeding through the clouds. Liam stumbled toward her, breathless. Emma, you just disappeared. What happened? She looked down at the puddle beside her boots. For a moment, her reflection shifted, the Banshee's hollow eyes staring back. Emma smiled faintly. She's not gone, she said softly. She's part of the warning now. The recorder in her hand flickered to life, playing one final message in her mother's voice. When the wail returns, remember, it's not death that follows, but truth. Hours later, Emma stood on a cliff overlooking the sea. The storm had passed. The horizon was gold. She pressed record again, her voice steady. Every legend starts as a voice no one believes. I believed mine, and now I'll make sure the world listens. The faint wail rose again, far in the distance, haunting yet peaceful, like a song carried by the wind. Emma smiled into the dawn. If you hear the cry, don't run. Listen. So tell me, if one night you heard her cry outside your window, would you close your eyes and pray it fades? Or would you step outside to listen? Let me know what you would do, because sometimes the wind isn't just the wind.